This is a story about how Amazon FBA allowed me to quit my 9 to 5 job. I went from miserable in 2018, incredibly miserable, to making $4 million this year, probably over $1 million in profit, 76 employees, all thanks to Amazon FBA. I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm going to tell you this because there's obviously a lot of people that think that this whole Amazon thing is not real. It is very real. It might not work for some people who are likely to quit or they don't work hard. Let me tell you my story real quick. Going back to when I first came to America, I came to America in 2011 to study chemical engineering. So I went to Connecticut, got my bachelor's in chemical engineering, graduated top of my class in 2014, worked up the corporate ladder. My first job, I was in new product development for a surgical devices company. Then I worked in chemical safety data sheets. Then I was a mechanical contractor for ceilings and stuff. Then I worked in construction. And that was my last job, construction. I was a project manager for construction. I was managing like $12 million in projects. And I hated my life. I was waking up 4:30 in the morning. 5 o'clock, I would leave to go to the gym. 5:15, I would get to the gym. I would work out till 6:15, commute for 45 minutes, work from 7 to 4, commute 45 minutes back. Usually be like 5 by the time I'm back. 5 to 5:30, I'm getting ready, drinking another pre-workout, go hit the gym. I train MMA. So I would train the kids class and then I would train for 3 hours MMA. And then I'd go home and sleep. And I'm like, damn man, I graduated top of my class as a chemical engineer, bachelor's and master's in industrial engineering. For what? So I can show up every single day to this same job. I felt like I was in prison. You feel like you can leave, right? You can quit any day you want. But for me, I was like, damn, I'm trapped. Like I have bills to pay. I have student loans. I was about $80,000 in student loans, and I kept changing, one job to the next, and nothing really changed. And I don't want to say I really hate my life that much. I was living in a nice home. I had a Honda, nice car, Honda Accord. Everything was good. I was hitting the gym. I had some friends, but it was really like, man, did I work so hard so this can be the rest of my life? Hell no, this was not going to be the rest of my life. So September 2018, I was on vacation in Egypt. I'm from Egypt. So my parents were there and I was buying a bunch of supplements on my phone. And so my dad is like, why are you on your phone so much buying supplements? I'm like, well, I usually like to mix them because like they don't all have the stuff that I want in them. He's like, why don't you make your own supplement? And I was like, that's so stupid. Like, I'm not going to make my own supplement. He's like, how much would it cost? So I'm like, okay, like, let me run the numbers. And I went in and I went on Amazon and I said, okay, if I were to make a product, I'm either going to make like a pre-workout or an electrolyte because I'm an MMA fighter. And those were like the top two things that I was using. I was drinking like chicken broth every day to get electrolytes in. So I looked at the bulk ingredients, bulksupplements.com. I'm like, if I buy these bulk products and I mix them all up, and get like a bag and mix the powder, put it in a bag, put a sticker, how much would it cost? The numbers came out to like $4 to $5. And it was selling for $25 to $30 on Amazon. And I'm like, maybe there's something there. I texted my friend. I'm like, hey man, you have a company. Like, how do you create a company or an LLC, whatever? I never heard about this stuff. And he's like, well, just go to LegalZoom and sign up and you're going to, create an LLC. And so I went and I did it and it cost me like $450. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Just to keep the story short, I came up with the product, tested it on myself. I felt that I liked it. It was an electrolyte supplement. It had sodium, potassium, magnesium, high dosages, and it had amino acids, mainly taurine, to enhance the absorption of the electrolytes. And so I came up with a really good formula and I tested it on myself. I liked it. It worked very well. I felt like I had more endurance at the gym. I gave it to my friends. They said it, they felt it. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I went to this MMA event. So this was September 14th is when I talked to my dad, when we were sitting down. I came back to America September 21st. That's when I made the stuff and I tested it on myself. And then someone messaged me and said, hey, November 2nd, there's an MMA event. I'd like for you to have a booth. You can showcase your products. Obviously, I was trying to sell them at the gym and, different supplement stores, and everyone was rejecting me. I was like, man, I hated going door to door trying to convince people to buy my product because also like the packaging didn't really make me feel super confident. And I know I had an amazing product, but I was never in sales, so I couldn't sell well. And so I showed up to this event and I'm trying to convince it. Me and my boy from MMA, we're trying to convince people like this is the best electrolyte. It's better than Onnit's electrolyte, better than Liquid IV, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, where can I buy it? And I had no answer because I had a website, but you can even buy on the website because I didn't know how you can fulfill. Like, how do you even ship stuff? I had no knowledge of anything. So I lied. I said, it's going to be on Amazon soon. And that's what led me to get into the Amazon space. And from there, I went and I did this deep dive, obsessive, consuming every piece of content out there about Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA is fulfilled by Amazon, where basically You take product, send it to Amazon, Amazon ships it out to all of your customers. And so I went through all this stuff. I'm like, how do I sell on Amazon? Like, how can I get an account? Kept calling different numbers. And finally, they're like, we'll connect you to seller support. Seller support said, you know what? We'll send you an email so you can sign up and blah, blah, blah. I signed up. Then they're like, okay, for you to sell, you need a certificate of analysis and you need GMP certification. So I went to a manufacturer. I obviously couldn't afford any manufacturing. So I went to him and I said, hey, I would like a quote from you. Send me a certificate of analysis. Send me your GMP certification. Send me an invoice. And if Amazon approves it, I'll move forward. He sent me all this stuff. I took it, uploaded it to Amazon. It didn't work. I uploaded it again and again and again, fudged some things here and there. Fifth time, they got approved. I didn't end up using this manufacturer. It was too expensive for me. His minimum order quantity was too much. But anyways, I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm good. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I was thinking I'm going to buy like ingredients in bulk, like powder, big powder. And then I'm going to have my roommate mix them while I'm at work. He's going to mix them according to my formula. And then he's going to put them in bags and we're going to send them to Amazon. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me just ask this guy that I was getting the bulk powders from if he could make a mix for me. So I messaged him. I said, hey, would you able to make a blend for me? He's like, sure. Like, what's the blend? I gave him the blend. I'm like, how much would it cost? He's like, how many do you want? I'm like, I don't know, like 100. He's like, sure, okay, like $5. I'm like, wow. That's like the exact same as if I did it myself at home, like in the cheapest way possible. And 100 units. Like, I'm like, okay, great. Like this way I can, start on Amazon. So I started working with this guy and we got the products done. I shipped them out to Amazon. You can, create the shipping label right on Amazon. So I created the shipping label, sent it to him. He put it on the box, sent it to Amazon. And then, I'm like, okay, cool. How do I sell stuff on Amazon? And it seemed like the two core things were spending money on ads, like doing PPC, pay-per-click advertising, and getting reviews. I did those two things. I turned on a bunch of random campaigns, whatever, anything that I kind of watched on YouTube, I implemented, spent some money, and I started hitting everyone up. I'm like, hey man, I'll give you my product for free. I'll Venmo you the money, $20. Just, buy it on Amazon, leave me a review in exchange, for getting it for free. And it's against terms of service, but whatever, this is what I did. I had no other option. I did that, started getting reviews. And as I got reviews, I noticed my sales going up. And as I spent more money, I noticed my sales going up. And that's how I started selling on Amazon. And I'm like, 5 days, 6 days in, still remember this. I was in LA Fitness. I just finished the swim workout and I was chilling in the jacuzzi, looking at my phone and I'm looking at the orders and I'm like, wow, random people actually buying my product on Amazon. Not my friends, because all the orders used to be my friends buying it and then leaving a review. It was the first time I felt like this is a real thing. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta, immerse myself deeper into figuring out how this works. And so I got into all the groups, all the Facebook groups, learned everything about it. Started improving my images. I got screwed over by people like on Fiverr. Thank God I found No Limit Creative. It's a company, they do like unlimited graphic design for like $400 a month, something like that. So I'm like, perfect. I'm just going to sign up for 1 month. I'm going to get all of my creatives fixed and then I'm going to cancel the subscription. End up signing up and never canceling because it's such a good service. But I got all of my images like done professionally by graphic designers. They looked incredible at like super affordable prices. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I have to dive deeper into this PPC thing because I know for a fact that this PPC thing is going to be big and it's what's going to drive all of the revenue for me on Amazon. Because I literally saw like the lines are like this. As I spent more money on PPC, I made more money in sales. It was literally like direct correlation. I'm an engineer. I can figure this out, like what a direct correlation is. I started getting deeper and deeper and I'm like, you know what? Every time I talk to someone, they have this different opinion about PPC and all this. There's one way to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I started testing one thing at a time. So I would test one thing, I would make a note. I had literally this notebook. I was doing all this like while I was still working. So to give you a little bit on the timeline, September 2018 when I started the supplement, November 2nd, 2018 is when I did the MMA event where I had the products and I told everyone it's going to be on Amazon. And then November 22nd, I was live on Amazon right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. 6 months later, I was fired from my job. This is April 30th of 2019. And around that time, I was doing $15,000 in sales and maybe $3,000 or $4,000 in profit, something like that. Basically, it was like testing one thing at a time, and just like, okay, if I do this auto campaign, what's going to happen? Well, if I pause this and I change this, what's going to happen? And I kept like a ledger exactly the same way that I was as a chemist. As a chemist, you would say, okay, we're going to increase the temperature, we're going to lower the pressure, this and that. And all of these little things we documented and we see the effect on the result. And so I did all of these things and I started becoming more and more and more knowledgeable. Now, this is the crazy thing, right? Amazon hosted this like event, like meetup in New York City. And the day that I was fired, was the day of that event. So I was fired and I was literally driving home. I'm like, damn, like I don't have a job anymore. But I'm like, you know what? I have enough money like coming in that I can at least cover my bills. Maybe let's try going all in on this. I drove to this Amazon event and I showed up there and there was these people from Amazon, like experts from Amazon. One of them was the advertising expert. So I waited in line. I walk up to her and I'm like, hey, what's up? How's it going? I just started selling on Amazon. I would love to run you through my PPC strategy. Give me any tips and advice and tell me how to do better. And then I run her through this whole strategy. I'm like, I'm doing this. And then her jaw drops and she's like, yeah, I mean, I think you're doing everything right. And then her only advice to me was like, maybe you just gotta go broader. And I was like, all right, I'm on my own in this world. Anyways, I started thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? I can't afford to make $3,000 or $4,000 and spend it all on my bills. And so I decided to pack up my bags, put everything in my car, sell everything else that couldn't fit in my car, park my car at church, and then I went to Egypt for 4 months to save money. So I was living off of $500 over there and I was just like fully focused on my business. Worked hard, head down, tested everything. And the thing that took me from like $20,000 to $38,000 a month, literally almost like over 1 month, was my review strategy. So I finally figured out a really good review strategy. You can't do this now anymore. 4 months passed. So early 2019, I'm deciding to move to LA. And at that point, I was doing like 10K a month in profits. And it would fluctuate anywhere between 6 to 10,000 a month in profit, depending on the month, depending on seasonality, all that kind of stuff. And this was just through consistently working on ads, consistently getting more reviews. I had a good product. And so when someone typed in electrolyte powder, they saw me in the search results. They then, looked at my product versus my competitors and they're like, wow, this one is better. It has, more servings. It has more electrolytes. It's better. Then from there, it was 2019, December 2019, I moved to LA. COVID hit March 2020. We're in lockdown and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start sharing all of my advice and all of this stuff on podcasts. And I started getting on all these podcasts and sharing everything that I know. If you go look at my channel, you'll see everything that I've ever learned, I share and give it away for free. And people loved it. And so, built a really big following. Fast forward, end of 2020, this aggregator is a company, raised $100 million. They hit me up. They said, we need you to train our team on advertising, but we want to test you out first. And so they tested me on one of their brands. 4 months later, they told me I outperformed all these other agencies, like 6 other agencies that they hired. And that was kind of the starting point of me building Trivium, which is the Amazon advertising agency I run now. So still own MMA Nutrition, which is a supplement brand. Does like 25,000 a month in profit, pretty consistently, pretty stable, pretty passive. My team runs it. And then I just have Trivium, which is now the big thing. We're trying to be the best and biggest Amazon advertising agency, Amazon marketing agency in the world, basically helping brands succeed on Amazon. This is all real, all possible. I was able to do it by starting to sell on Amazon. And even if I didn't have the agency, I mean, I would still be able to take home, 15K a month safely out of my MMA Nutrition supplement brand that I built in, 2018, 2019. It's 2023. And, it's for the people that think that this is not real. I mean, it was just a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency, and, just staying calm under pressure. So if you like this video, guys, and you want, more stories, comment below.